No, the Fever are not more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. After a week of proving to the WNBA world that they can win big games without Caitlin Clark, Saturday's nail-biting home loss to the Los Angeles Sparks proved that the Indiana Fever really need her back. The Sparks defeated the Fever at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for the second week in a row, disproving the scorching take from former women's basketball coach and ESPN analyst Carolyn Peck that the Fever are more dangerous when Clark is not playing. Indeed, Peck surmised on SportsCenter earlier this week that this Fever team is even more dangerous when Caitlin Clark doesn't play, a hot take that a tough Fever loss to the Sparks immediately cancels out. Outside of it already being a huge overreaction to Indiana's 3-game win streak against the Dallas Wings, Minnesota Lynx and Las Vegas Aces, it's a hot take that fundamentally misunderstands what makes the Fever great and how generationally well Clark factors into that equation. Clark gets a lot of attention from defenses that frees up the other talented players on the court. Her presence doesn't make Indiana easier to defend. Clark makes it that much harder for other teams to contain the other great Fever players when so much of the opposing attention goes to her. That doesn't even factor in her lights-out shooting and her elite ability to facilitate offense. She's an assists maven for a reason. Having a high-volume shooter like Clark doesn't make you one-dimensional, particularly with how well Clark sets up her teammates for success. Even if Clark lacked the elite facilitating, she wouldn't be zapping the potential away from her teammates by simply being on the court. She'd still make them tougher to defend just by being there. Clark is the engine that powers the car. The Fever winning big games without her is just a testament to the overall roster and the excellent coaching job Stephanie White has done in Clark's absence. If the Fever can be dangerous without her, just imagine what the best version of this team can be with her. However, Saturday's loss shows that the Clark-less Fever can only be so dangerous on a game-to-game basis. As silly as it feels to point out, yes, the Fever really do need Clark back from her groin injury soon. Peck won a national title as a college coach and is clearly a basketball expert, but we're all guilty of hot takes that age poorly from time to time, author raises hand. The Fever proved earlier in the week that they can beat any team in the WNBA on any given night, but Saturday's Sparks loss proved that the team is not better off without its best player. Inconsistency has been one of the season themes for Indiana, and getting Clark back sooner than later will give this Fever team its best chance of overcoming it. One loss is a blip on the radar in a WNBA season as long as the losses don't start piling up. It's why the Lynx can't worry too much about their Commissioner's Cup loss. The Fever can brush off a couple of defeats to the Sparks and still be a legitimate playoff contender. However, the latest Sparks loss is a great example of how this Indiana team cannot be what it consistently wants to be without Clark on the court. It's just not possible. One night, you take down the best team in the WNBA. Another, you can't beat one of the worst. Once Indiana gets Clark back, it can finally chase the consistency it craves. Until then, expect more seesaw results. As much as we deeply respect Peck and her career, her Fever take just doesn't hold up in the slightest. If anything, the Fever desperately need Clark back as soon as possible so they can be the best version of themselves more consistently.